Hello class, this is Scott Caruso from AOC1211 here with my week 3 reflection video. I noticed that there are actually questions to respond to this week, so I will try to do that for you. For this week's project, I assume that I did pretty much the same thing that everyone else did, in that I created a couple of functions, the add integers function, the Boolean comparison function, and the string append function, and then did a whole lot of fun stuff with those, including displaying them in the alerts as strings. And then, it went all right. It does most of what it's supposed to, and what I did was I essentially called each one of those functions outside of the main view function, and or created all of them out there rather, and then called them within my view function of my application. I used external variables rather than hard-coded variables so that I could change them easily. They were all lumped into one section, so I could change the strings and the integers that I was comparing and adding and whatnot for ease of testing. But really, I used comments to logically separate it, and then once I got to that point, or once I got to the point of finishing up the project, I just made sure that I put the functions in the relative order that I expected them to be called, just so in terms of going back and looking at it, it made sense that, okay, this is the first thing that's going to happen, the second thing that's going to happen, and I looked at it that way. But really, it worked out well. It seems like it's logically separated from my point of view. The biggest problem really that I had, and unfortunately I never was able to fix it, was that one of my alerts is getting called twice. Once really briefly at the application load, and then going away right away, and then all the alerts play, and they're actually playing out of the order that I would expect them to play, and I'm not quite sure why. I don't know if it's maybe just a lack of understanding on my part on how the Objective-C is working, but the alerts, they're playing, if I remember correctly, in the backwards order than I would expect. And rather than just going in there and reversing the order of them in the code just to make it work right, that would be a hacky solution. I want to try to understand why they're doing that, and I guess that's probably what also could use more clarification. Why is my code behaving that way, and why am I getting one of these alert prompts to appear right away really quickly and then automatically dismissing itself before the three of them play the way that I would expect them to play? I don't quite understand why it's doing that, and I guess it's probably a syntax thing that I don't get yet. But I would love to dig into that a little bit more and figure out why that's actually doing that. So yeah, that was pretty much week 3. The only real problem I had this week in terms of the execution was a problem of my own doing. Election day was Tuesday, as you probably know, and as a big political junkie like I am, Tuesday was pretty much a wasted night for me. I didn't get any work done, so I was kind of cramming to finish everything on Wednesday and Thursday. So that's kind of how my week went. But again, it's no fault of my own. I'm usually really good about budgeting my time, but this week in particular, because of the election that got mixed in there, it was a little more difficult than it usually is. So that's week 3. Hope everyone else had a good week 3 as well, and I will talk to you again during week 4.